You're listening to DraftKings Network.
You know that sound. It's the sound of money hitting your Venmo account. A friend paying you back. Or maybe it's getting cash back from your favorite business when you pay with the Venmo debit card. Or it's realizing you can pay with Venmo at checkout at thousands of brands. Now, there are so many more ways to answer the question, what's your Venmo? Download Venmo today. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated. Dosh Cashback terms apply.
Hey there, travelers and dreamers. We all have that dream trip that we've been wishing we could go on. But too often, life just gets in the way, whether it's work, family responsibilities, or, in my case, and I'm sure many of yours, price. But your dream trip doesn't have to stay a dream any longer, because Priceline is here to help you book it with millions of deals on hotels, flights, cruises, and rental cars. That bucket list destination? Yeah, it's a lot closer than you think. You know, I've been wanting to go see the Pittsburgh Pirates for a long time at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. That's like at the top of my list of bucket list destinations of baseball parks around the country. And because I now know about the type of deals that Priceline offers, I may pull the trigger this summer and go see those Pirates. Priceline makes it easy and stress-free to book a flight and a hotel so I can go see my team play live. With millions of travel deals like up to 60% off hotels, I know I'll be able to find great options even when I need to book last minute. So don't just dream about that next trip, book it with Priceline. Download the Priceline app or visit Priceline.com to go to your happy price. Actual prices may vary. Limited time offer. Terms apply.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings,
Why are you listening to this show?
the podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
We need to fire Taylor. That was
pretty rough.
That was not cool.
I'm mad on your behalf, man.
How did he know to pick the photo from the behind the bit video?
He's got a big smile back there, by the way. I just kind of leaned over and looked through the window.
Your most insecure photo of all time.
Oh, come on.
Ooh, not great. Hey, I got breaking NASA news.
NASA?
NASA.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been kind of ticked off. You've been following the asteroid. Don't put it. But I see it in preview. Do not put that photo back up.
It was up. It's off now.
Okay. Do not. Jason, you're a gator. You're already on thin ice. All right. So just let's chill. All right. So daily, whether or not we're going to be here past 2032, it's
Please
fluctuated.
give me some good news.
I've got bad news for you. The percentage, which had been at like an all-time high, 3.2, I guess not all-time high, but NASA really wasn't around for the time of the dinosaurs, if that's what happened. NASA has just announced new data gathered last night dropped the December 2032 impact odds of the asteroid to 0.28%.
What?
All right, so we're good.
Already? They dropped it back down?
Let's clarify, though, because I was worried that this was like an Earth ender. This is just a city ender, right?
No,
maybe not even that.
I mean, it depends on where it hits.
Yeah.
But still, it's obviously all bad, but that's better than Armageddon.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking.
Well, it depends on your point of view.
Our room out there was just poo-pooing 3%. They're like, 3%, we're still good. I'm like, are you guys bleeping crazy?
No, and also
still good.
I had read that it was like too late to do anything about, which I was like, I saw Armageddon. You got plenty of time, maybe not enough time to turn astronauts into drillers, but you certainly have enough time to turn drillers into astronauts, as Michael Bay taught us. But as this story turns, because every day we're going to have huge swings on whether or not NASA's lost all credibility with me. Because I could wake up tomorrow and you could tell me it goes up to 6%. I'll be like, all right, cool. It's been that kind of thing.
It's like following the stock market. Like, it's up. Oh, it's up to 6%. Oh, no, what are we going to do? No, it's back down to 0%.
Also,
okay, what do we do?
Not now. We got enough going on. And I'm not, look, this is not a can that you want to kick down the road too far. Well, we're bringing it all back.
Check Fort Knox.
Potentially.
I saw Zagacki last night, by the way. This is why I will never make fun of Mike on air ever again. He graciously gave me his courtside seats for the Miami Hurricanes game as they hosted Notre Dame last night. I sat 3 seats down from Brianna Stewart. The Notre Dame, one of the Notre Dame staff members was like, yeah, we were trying to get courtside seats for Skylar Diggins, who was there, and Enrique and Jewel Lloyd. And we couldn't find any. And I was sitting in Mike's seats with Lehman, and we had one empty seat next to us because we don't have any friends to invite that wanted to see the game. And I was like, you could tell Skylar she could come sit by me.
So you saw Josie?
I did. He was calling the game for ACC Extra, and it was electric.
I see him all the time, and it's never not
Very awkward.
Always awkward. I mean, you've been with me to a game where I just have to walk right back. That my walk is I have to walk right behind Josie. I think we both kind of know. I hope he does, and I know he's not a fan. But a tough one for the University of Miami.
They did lose by 40, but
Notre Dame's
the
good.
plus side, Notre Dame is the number 1 ranked team in the country.
Notre Dame's really, really good. And look, Hannah was dealing with something. Carson Beck was at the game. Carson Beck, he's always at the game.
I was like, is he bending the elbow? Is it full mobility?
How does he look in person?
The same.
No, I'm saying like statuesque. Does he look good?
He's large.
He's tall.
He's big. But also,
his hair is small.
Cavenders are both
Hair
smaller.
is small?
It's a Philly. It's always sunny thing. The Cavenders what?
They're small.
Yeah,
so
the Cavenders are very tiny.
Also, so Notre Dame made these 3D printed pocket-sized point guard little figurines for their backcourt, Hannah Hidalgo and Olivia Miles. Olivia Miles is electric. Hannah Hidalgo is great, and everyone knows that, but Olivia Miles, electric. One of the greatest passers in the women's game. And seeing her in person her court vision is crazy. But anyways, I got these cute little figurines.
I got a question about the figurine.
Met Olivia Miles after the game. We took a picture together. It was so cute.
So you say 3D printed, but what's the line between 3D printed and just whatever we used to do that wasn't 3D printed? Like
handmade?
No, how would we make a little plastic figurine before 3D printed?
ChatGPT.
I don't know. I guess it depends what it's
a little machine would
maybe
make
like
it?
A mold.
Yeah, but
we'll get on that. Crack research staff. Just
reach out to the innovation lab in South Bend that printed these bad boys.
Yeah, but Haley Cavender is a brilliant passer, and going to those games are a great experience. Jess, actually, look, there was plenty of reason Miami season hasn't gone
fun.
well. It's a good atmosphere.
Good environment. Better than I went to the Notre Dame Miami men's game, which was a Saturday night game a couple weeks ago.
That's toxic.
And I told 3 teens sitting behind me I was going to call their parents if they didn't shut up. Because they were being very loud and they were being very inappropriate and saying inappropriate things behind me. And they laughed and then they stopped. So I got my mom voice down. I scolded some kids.
I had an unnamed producer from the other room tell me the other day that the UM men's basketball team is one of the worst teams he's ever seen play.
They haven't seen Notre Dame's men's basketball team.
Yeah, this is the worst UM men's basketball team I've ever seen. And for them to waste all that momentum from back-to-back really deep runs in the men's tournament is really kind of heartbreaking. As you know, I was a blue blood. I knew ball better than anybody when it came to college hoops. And for me to Yeah. No, I could. You should be in my house when Cynthia asked me, hey, are we going to the game? And I just laugh her out of a room. I literally would rather do anything else.
Well, it's a very exciting time to be a women's college hoops fan and a women's basketball fan in general with Unrivaled tonight. Just a lot of fun things happening. And if you're someone like me who didn't watch NBA All-Star or the Four Nations tournament because you were watching college hoops, there's a lot coming up this weekend, so very exciting times.
Yeah, I should clarify. It's a men's hoops team. I love going to the women's games, and I know that this season's been disappointing.
No, you clarified. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Women's games, electric. Men's games.
Yeah. Yuck. But Hannah Cavender played in that game. Hannah Cavender had her car stolen. Carson Beck had
two cars stolen.
Have you read the details? This was a home invasion. While they were sleeping, the men went into their home and grabbed the keys, and that's how they stole all 3 cars.
That is terrifying.
It's hugely terrifying. Really, really unfortunate and scary situation. They caught the guy that did it, who confessed to it, and the entire plan.
And they got their cars back?
They got their cars back intact. Quite honestly, you can talk yourself into it.
That's why Stugotz isn't here today.
That's why Stugotz isn't here today. Hugely, look, everyone was having to go at Miami. Move to Miami, see what happens. Look, I'm not going to issue the banter back like maybe stealing the car from a Georgia Bulldog's a public service. But, the case is closed. So everyone is good. Hey, did you know MLS is back this weekend? No? No one knew.
Yes. It was back because Messi played in negative 19 degrees.
That wasn't MLS.
I was curious to know. That was not MLS.
We did talk soccer yesterday.
So you guys are aware that Messi played in a game that was below 0. The coldest
That
game
we
that he's
mentioned.
ever.
And that wasn't MLS.
It was on FS2.
And Tony made a great Tua joke.
It was on FS2.
FS2.
And this was just the first leg. They're going to play Sporting Kansas City to win the CONCACAF Champions Cup, hopefully. But MLS is back this weekend. And look, most people did not know that Leo Messi was playing a game in Kansas City in sub-zero temperatures. MLS, not really part of the national conversation, even though it's coming back this week. I have a storyline that many people may not be aware of, okay? Here's a storyline that I think I'm breaking to everybody but maybe Jess, because I've texted Jess about this. There is a player on FC Cincinnati, Peter Mangione. Do we have a photo of this soccer player on FC Cincinnati? It's certainly a familiar surname. That is because he is Luigi's cousin. Luigi's cousin plays for FC Cincinnati. And their kit sponsor, anybody want to guess the kit sponsor for FC Cincinnati?
Oh, no.
They have a
insurance company?
They have a healthcare provider
No
as their kit sponsor. And I'm pretty sure like no one knows about this.
They do now.
They do now. But look, if you've been waiting for the right moment to politicize MLS, here is your chance. Luigi's cousin plays for FC Cincinnati.
Peter didn't get the eyebrows.
He didn't.
from the family tree, the genetics.
I mean,
Yeah.
few
God
few
gave
do.
all of his eyebrows to Luigi.
Yeah.
Few do. So
They are great brows.
that wraps up our MLS preview.
Good coverage.
It's great coverage.
So what the hell was the game that Messi played in if it wasn't MLS? What
great
was it?
question.
Can somebody tell me what it was?
It's a CONCACAF
Oh,
Champions Cup.
of course, yes.
Yeah. But I'm not exactly sure. So
I know what CONCACAF is.
It's the
But Tony definitely
it's CONCACAF. It's different from MLS Cup, which is different from another
Leagues Cup.
Leagues Cup, right? Which is
So-
also part of the MLS. I think.
So I'm assuming Inter Miami qualified for the CONCACAF Champions Cup because they won the
had
Supporter
Messi.
Shield. No, well,
Supporter Shield.
They won the Supporter Shield because they had Messi, no doubt. So that gets them there. Man, I could not tell you who won MLS last year. I'm just drawing a blank here, and I like the sport. I follow it occasionally.
Feels like an Atlanta United year.
Wasn't it Los Angeles, the Galaxy? No?
Yeah, that feels right. Was it LA versus LA in the final? Well, no, it was LA versus New York City FC.
This is electric content.
I think it was, yeah. Well, either way, Sporting Kansas City somehow got the other spot, and they lost the first leg in sub-zero
Yes, the Galaxy
temperatures.
won.
Can someone find out how Sporting Kansas City made this thing? This is an electric.
Seeing that the LA Galaxy beat the New York Red Bulls in the MLS Championship 2024.
All right, so it was an NYCFC, which is who Inter Miami start this season off against. Fan with, folks. I mean, I've been
only
through
so
the
much we
ringer.
could do, yeah.
I've been through the ringer.
I've been on a mission to watch every Oscar-nominated film before the Academy Awards next weekend, and
Who do you have left?
5 deep. I have a lot left. I watched 5 out of the 12-ish that I have on my list. I'm debating next if I should watch the Timothy Chalamet Bob Dylan biopic, or if I should watch Wicked, which I still haven't seen, which I heard is amazing. The problem is a lot of these movies are plus 2 hours long. It's just a big time commitment, and it's hard. I want to crush 3 in a day, and that's my whole day.
What have you seen already?
I've seen Honora, which I really enjoyed. I saw Amelia Perez, which was a baffling film. I've seen
Say that again.
Conclave, which I also really enjoyed, and
Poignant.
A Real Pain, which I also enjoyed with Kieran Culkin.
I didn't like A Real Pain.
Really? Why not?
Because I thought, I understand why he's getting all the fanfare, and it kind of feels like, a bunch of movie people are watching Kieran Culkin for the first time. Because he's
playing a similar character to Roman Roy, because I've heard people say that.
Yeah.
He's just playing a kind of a shithead little brother
yeah.
character.
There doesn't, for me, I understand there's an audience for it, and I'm sure there are connection points for a ton of people in that I didn't have
I did
connection
really
points
like.
to it.
I actually, you're right. I think his character was good, and I think there was enough depth that I don't think it was that similar to Succession, but I could see where you're coming from. It wasn't the plot wasn't, there wasn't any action. It's just a travelogue through Poland with the two cousins as they're trying to grapple with their pain and suffering, but also their ancestral pain and suffering. I thought it was well done.
No
It was
doubt.
definitely a big moment for Indiana University because Jesse Eisenberg wore and Indiana had the entire film. But I liked it. I liked it more than the substance, Mike, which I know is your favorite.
I like the substance more because of the audacity of it. Since I didn't have the connection points to A Real Pain, I went specifically for what I heard was a great Kieran Culkin performance, and I saw just Kieran Culkin. I wasn't blown away by the performance. He does a solid job. So without the connection points, it didn't do much for me. I understand why people don't like The Substance, by the way. And I think you and I were talking about some of there's like a plot hole.
There's okay, this is like not really a spoiler, but if you haven't seen The Substance and you don't want to know anything about it, skip ahead like 30 seconds. But the premise of The Substance is that Demi Moore takes the substance. She's like an aging fitness A-list celebrity star in Hollywood, and she takes the substance to be younger, ? But like a younger body hatches out of her body, and then every 7 days they switch back. So like the younger body is unconscious, and then Demi Moore is out in the world, and then there's like some twists and turns later in the movie. But my question is, there's a younger body that is out in the world while Demi Moore's like passed out in her bathroom, but Demi Moore and the younger body, they're technically supposed to be the same entity.
You are one. The whole thing is you are one.
But they have different consciousnesses, because like Demi Moore doesn't remember what the younger body is doing or like experience being in the younger body. And the younger person doesn't have the experience of Demi Moore when she's awake. It's very confusing. I'm like, what is the...
Maybe skip 45 seconds.
What is the appeal, if you're Demi Moore, of taking the substance if you are still in the same body and you don't get to be
You don't get to actually
version?
enjoy it. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Or you have no recollection of enjoying it. And when they really hammer home that you are one, well, of course, one of them is going to go all wonky on the other and be greedy with their time with the substance. So I do think, like, it's not a perfect film at all, but I did like its audacity. I did like that the performances were visceral and they went for it the way that they shot it.
The effects were amazing and the acting was good and it was disgusting to watch. Yeah. And so it gets major points for that.
I need to get to Conclave, but so far Honora is my favorite.
I love how many different, they really nailed it with all the different types of cardinals.
They really hammered home the message about beauty in Hollywood and The Substance. I mean...
And sexism.
No sexism. No, Dennis Quaid.
Oh, Dennis Quaid was disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Which is
foul mouth man.
Job well done.
Gross. Eating shrimp.
The close
nauseous.
up.
While we're catching up on Jess's movies she's watched, let me catch you up on the Venmo bucket presented by Venmo. A light week for the fines, honestly. Only Dan was fined yesterday $1 for a mistake.
$1?
We're going to have to step this up next week. And my dad had to do something earlier this week that was finable. But one fine this week from the Venmo fine bucket, $1 for Dan making a mistake.
Hey there, wellness warriors. If you're like me, you've given a lot of thought to how to improve your health and wellness routine this year. I've started stretching more, do a little mindfulness and meditation every day, try to clear my mind, make my body feel right. Take your health routine to the next level with the magic of contrast therapy. Meet our new amazing sponsor, Redwood Outdoors. They're making it easy to bring the benefits of saunas and cold plunges right to your backyard. A Redwood Outdoors backyard sauna seats 2 to 8 people, where you can relax, unwind, and enjoy all the benefits like reduced muscle tension, improved sleep, and glowing skin. And it doesn't stop there. Redwood Outdoors' invigorating cold plunge helps to boost circulation, sharpen your focus, and leave you feeling absolutely revitalized. Whether it's detoxing deeper, reducing inflammation, or connecting with loved ones in moments of peace, Redwood Outdoors has you covered. Enhance your physical and mental wellness routines with Redwood Outdoors. Take advantage of special savings today. Visit redwoodoutdoors.com. Use code DAN to save $175. That's redwoodoutdoors.com, code DAN to save $175 on your order. redwoodoutdoors.com, code DAN.
Hey there, travelers and dreamers. We all have that dream trip that we've been wishing we could go on. But too often, life just gets in the way, whether it's work, family responsibilities, or, in my case, and I'm sure many of yours, price. But your dream trip doesn't have to stay a dream any longer, because Priceline is here to help you book it with millions of deals on hotels, flights, cruises, and rental cars. That bucket list destination? Yeah, it's a lot closer than you think. You know, I've been wanting to go see the Pittsburgh Pirates for a long time at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. That's like at the top of my list of bucket list destinations of baseball parks around the country. And because I now know about the type of deals that Priceline offers, I may pull the trigger this summer and go see those Pirates. Priceline makes it easy and stress-free to book a flight and a hotel so I can go see my team play live. With millions of travel deals like up to 60% off hotels, I know I'll be able to find great options even when I need to book last minute. So don't just dream about that next trip, book it with Priceline. Download the Priceline app or visit Priceline.com to go to your happy price. Actual prices may vary. Limited time offer. Terms apply.
You know that sound. It's the sound of money hitting your Venmo account. A friend paying you back. Or maybe it's getting cash back from your favorite business when you pay with the Venmo debit card. Or it's realizing you can pay with Venmo at checkout at thousands of brands. Now, there are so many more ways to answer the question, what's your Venmo? Download Venmo today. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated. Dosh Cashback terms apply.
Don Batard.
Mike Ryan's in there, and he's the one with a baby. He's the one who's got to, worry about what the future is. And Mike Ryan bet on DraftKings because Mike Ryan bet on us. This is the bet you're afraid of doubling down on? Putting up a billboard in Edmonton?
Stugotz.
I care more about Matthew Tkachuk than I do my daughter.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Zach Martin retired yesterday.
I know, so sad.
He's just 34 years old. That was I guess we're not really allowed to be shocked by retirements in the NFL all that much. Aaron Donald retired, although we had been able to brace for Aaron Donald because there was that chatter there. Zach Martin really shocked me. Jess, he's a member,
legend.
A
the
Notre Dame
greatest
legend.
guard of all time.
Notre Dame legend. Yeah, definitely a Notre Dame legend. And I know he's gone through some injury, but this surprised me. Should I have been surprised?
I don't know. I wasn't that surprised. I mean, he's made so much money with the Cowboys. I don't know exactly what triggered it now, whether it was just not wanting to sign another extension or whatever his contract situation was. But I don't know. It feels like he has been in the league a long time, and it is a very taxing position. Mike Golick Jr. is the expert of all things Zach Martin, so you should have him on just to ask him about something.
I guess I'm not allowed to be surprised anymore when someone retires, especially someone that has made their money. And that gets me to Dalton Knecht, who I want to talk about, because there were actually developments on this story, Jeremy. It would seem that the trade, everyone's pointing their fingers at the Lakers right now for this Dalton Knecht failed trade. Update the people, and then I want to talk about how people are psychoanalyzing Dalton Knecht, which is a little unfair.
By the way, Bruce Matthews would like a word.
Yeah. Essentially, it seems as though the Lakers are the ones that went back on the trade with Mark Williams because of the physical, and so they end up with Dalton Knecht coming back to their team, Mark Williams going back to the Hornets, and it was just a really awkward time. JJ Redick, when Dalton Knecht had missed a game before the All-Star break, kind of, to me, left Dalton Knecht hung out to dry by telling everyone that he still needed time to process what had gone down. Because to me, as a coach, you're supposed to kind of shield players from that sort of thing. But it let the media and a whole bunch of people on social media go after Knecht. It let Mark Williams go back to Charlotte. And it's just been one of the most awkward things I've ever seen. And I think there was a tweet yesterday or a post from Mark Williams that I'll try to go find now.
It was from Jeff Schwartz. Yeah, it came out and said there's nothing wrong with Mark Williams. The Lakers were wrong about this. There's been independent doctors that have come in and basically cleared Mark Williams of, hey, this guy is not damaged goods. Because the other thing is he's coming up on a contract this upcoming year, and you look around saying, well, if the Lakers denied a trade, why would we pay him any money? What leverage do the Hornets have at all? So that post by Jeff Schwartz was like, all right, wait a second. Mark Williams is good. The Lakers just kind of had buyer's remorse.
The official quote from Jeff Schwartz of XL Sports Management is, the overwhelming sentiment after conferring with multiple nationally recognized doctors is that the Lakers should not have failed Mark Williams on his physical.
Well, that changes the narrative quite a bit.
Completely.
Because the onus was falling on the Hornets. Oh, you played this guy to increase his trade value was the narrative that was going along there. But I want to focus on the Dalton Knecht thing. And you said something interesting. It is, I agree. JJ Redick should have done a better job here. He's still learning. This is a teachable moment. it would have only bought so much time because remember Dalton Knecht, maybe because of the actions of J.J. Redick and how he exacerbated some of this stuff, he sat out some of the Rising Stars stuff, like the All-Star Weekend stuff, and at that point, you don't have your coach there to protect you. You're going to have to start answering some questions there. I have a tough time with this one, and I understand where people are coming from. Like, this is a business. You know what you're getting into. You've been grooming for this moment your entire life. You get to the league. You understand the association is a business. It didn't work out. You go back to a place that you don't feel wanted. I do actually think that this newest revelation does make it easier for the Lakers to welcome Dalton Knecht back in that, look, we failed him. We shouldn't have. That's because we knew how special you were, Dalton.
Man, that's a hell of a spin.
Look,
like
you got to
if we
make
traded
the most
Stugotz to like FS1 and then he failed a physical and we were like, come back.
Yeah. Man, we had immediate regret. So look, it's clandestine that you are coming back. Dalton Knecht, I'm willing to. I don't think I've ever seen a situation quite like this before, so I understand there's no playbook for it. I also, the way that I've been kind of processing it, and before, I don't have a take on this. Where I've settled is he hasn't made his money yet. So the spoiled athlete trope that you hear, like, go out there and understand the business, like, he hasn't made his money in this league yet. So I don't think that's necessarily, we're dealing with a very human thing. I think because it's framed in sports, everyone feels like they can disassociate how awkward that must be as someone that has previously walked into a building where he knew with full certainty that he wasn't necessarily welcome there or wanted there at that time. I understand how difficult it is to go about your job and to try to maintain a level of professionalism that then again you are contracted to actually play. I don't know how much he's participating in some of the other stuff though. I'm sure there'll be a big investigative piece on it, and hopefully it comes out on the other side. But I'm willing to not rush to judgment here. But I do hear a lazy trope on social media when it comes to spoiled athletes, and I don't think that applies here. He's not this multi-millionaire.
Well, especially because his story is so interesting, right? He was a guy who played junior college basketball and then transferred 2 more times before ending up at Tennessee, and then a first-round pick who had moments. He hit 9 threes in a game for the Lakers. During the summer league, he was like white boy of the month for the NBA, where everybody was obsessed with him. And oh my God, look at this dude hitting threes in the Lakers. Yeah, he was supposed to be the steal of the draft after the draft had happened. Everybody's upset that they passed on him. He's going to be the spectacular player. And then a little bit of struggle as a rookie, and then all of a sudden you're shipped to a team in Charlotte that's one of the worst teams in the league. You had just been playing alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Like, it's a strange thing to happen to a young 20-something, and he's not someone who has been through the business in the same way. He's not even the type of guy who we're going to start seeing who dealt with NIL in college and so saw some of what the business was like. This is basically Duncan Robinson, but if Duncan had climbed so much at Michigan to be able to also be a first-round pick. So it was the coolest story, and the Lakers had embraced him, and then all of a sudden he's discarded. I can understand how he would want to kind of take a moment and take a beat before returning to the team.
I've been told that Tony has a hot take that's too hot for this room. So, Tony, we prepared a place where you can formulate this hot take and unleash it on the nation.
It better not be with our Bryles.
It's not. It's not.
Okay,
but we are sending you away to a sauna, I believe.
I love the sauna.
So you can deliver this take.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Sorry, suckers.
Love a sauna. This better be the hottest take I've ever heard in my life.
It better be. And it better be focused on the NBA because we as I've already said.
I know you haven't been watching, so I want to get you up to speed with something that you may hear at first and be like, well, yeah, of course. But then I'm going to give you some extra stuff, a little extra heat.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Well, let's get over there. I want to inject the storylines now in the NBA because, as I've stated, sports in shambles. Just lost the face of the league. Has a terrible All-Star game. Miami Heat are crap. Like,
you could have started with that one.
The Miami Heat are crap.
The rest trickle out after that.
No doubt. And I will readily admit this. It's awfully convenient for me to say the NBA is in shambles when my team is no good. I know. Yes, I'll wear it. My investment in this league was my team being good as the sport itself got less appealing to watch for me. And when the team started going about the regular season a certain way, I responded in kind. And then it was very disheartening to know that I knew better about the direction of the franchise than the franchise did. And so that's where I'm at. And then I start seeing all the other flaws. If I'm not invested to watch my own team, I'm certainly not invested to watch other people not care about their sport. So that's where I'm at with it. And hopefully there's peaks and valleys. Baseball kind of figured something out. I watched that World Series. Granted, it was New York versus LA. But look, Yankees, we got groomed beards now. We
Still can't believe that.
We did stuff to the shift. The games are moving faster. And the NFL a couple years ago was at the same point. The sport wasn't as watchable. They had to change the rules. You had the Kaepernick stuff. There was politics. Everybody was just exhausted. You had people saying the UFC is going to be bigger than the NFL. The NBA is going to be bigger than the NFL. And the NFL kind of figured all that stuff out. So I think that the NBA is at one of those points where they need to bring it in tight, do what's best for business, and change something. But I'm a little distracted by what I'm seeing right now because I wasn't fully prepared. I was not fully prepared for how this was going to go down for Tony's hot take. So, all right, that is a bit of a shock.
Hey, good for Mally.
Yeah. No, Mally, sleeper.
We're not showing it yet. We're waiting.
He was right.
They're still previewing the shots. So don't reveal it yet, guys.
Mally's a sleeper. But oh, man, the cockles of my heart are warmed right now as I'm watching First Take and Stephen A. Smith have to formulate hockey opinions. Oh. This is great. This is actually a great proving ground for him as he's going to have to, one day possibly talk about the Balkans.
Well, they're doing it through the prism of how can this impact other sports? So they're like, hey, Stephen A., just bring it to other sports.
Yeah, which is why they're dragging out PK.
And Damian Woody as well.
Damian Woody was there too.
Well, Damian Woody's an Islander fan, so I can give him a pass. Okay. But Stephen A. Smith,
Well, it's particularly interesting as MLB and ESPN have announced their kind of mutual separation moving forward after
Amazon?
this season.
Is this Amazon?
I'm not sure where it goes. Amazon or Apple do seem like the logical places, right? And that Apple has already created a TV package around MLS and has learned how to do that.
And they have an MLB game.
And they have an MLB game already. Amazon obviously just announced a partnership with the network regionally that carries so many teams and allows
well said.
Avoiding some certain things there.
We're giving you credit, pal.
Thank you.
Keep it going.
I appreciate it.
That was earnest.
I'm
Sorry.
totally
I said
stopped.
it in my sarcastic voice, but it was earnest.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Well said.
That's better.
That's
a lot better, actually.
That's much
better. Still it felt condescending.
The first one
it
couldn't have sounded more condescending.
Well said.
I think everyone understands your position.
Thank you.
There's so many confused people listening, though.
Nonetheless.
Or people like me that just, once they realized, oh, you're going to charge me what for that? No, thanks.
There's a package for that network to be on Amazon Prime Video now. And so with that, you would think that that's a space where a certain network and Amazon Prime might be interested in getting in with MLB. Clearly, Major League Baseball, in what their statement was, this was a mutual thing. They talked about ESPN being like a declining network. And as they try to figure out how to discuss hockey, they're leaning away from talking about baseball. So this is one of the most interesting inflection points in all sports, right? NFL is the only thing that we understand exactly how it works in terms of TV nationally, and it's going to stay that way. But hockey has had recent changes. Baseball's about to go through a change. Basketball's about to go through a change, going with Amazon Prime and NBC, which you can only hope those two networks will know how to market the game better than ESPN has in the last 15 years. Because all ESPN has done is react to the decision and decide that, ratings go up for the decision. Let's make everything about transactions.
MLS went through this change as well, and I don't think it was a good change.
It's not always a good one.
No.
That's what's interesting.
I don't know how Sporting Kansas City is eligible for the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And that's not a thing that happened to me before when these games were more accessible. Now, I couldn't really follow most of the league because the way that they stacked their games was a lot in the same window, but I was locked in on what Inter Miami were doing. Now I'm kind of just living my life once I got priced out of those season tickets, and I got to tell you, there is an accessibility factor.
100%. That's why the NFL is the NFL, right? You're getting it on CBS, on Fox. You're getting it nationally televised on broadcast television where, Dan brought up yesterday or maybe several days ago that the Heat's ratings are down 56%. Well, a lot of that has to do with fans who no longer are able to access the games via whatever their cable subscription might be and don't want to pay for whatever the monthly subscription is, and in turn have been priced out regionally, and the Panthers are no longer on that network. So if you're a Panthers fan, you're watching via a different means. We're not factoring in all of those things. So
that is a key one, because
that's a huge one. There are plenty of Panthers and Heat fans who were watching Heat games as a result of the fact that they felt they needed to watch every Panthers game. And some, obviously, at a time that would have worked vice versa as well. But when you have the Panthers kind of holding things up, there's some people there's some people with cable networks. So these things are shifting in a way that's really fascinating right now. And the next 5 or so years for several of these different leagues are going to show us who is the second league after the NFL.
Well, I thought it was going to be the NBA. Globally,
it still is, and it probably will be.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we look globally, like the NFL isn't even first. It's soccer,
of course. We're talking in the United States,
which is so strange that soccer
because we're not anti-American
can't make a dent here, despite loads of investment. But the NBA, because of its global reach, because of the fact that its best players are international, you would think that isn't really a good spot. But here in home base, where the sport was invented, it's at a troubling time right now in its history. But I think Tony is here to rescue the sport somehow by pushing a topic that can be talked about on cable television and promote big games. So, Tony, we now have you in the sauna. Hey, Mally, congratulations, pal. That's a good job by you. You can tell a lot by who decided to go with the towel around the waist and the towels over the shoulders. But, Tony, what is your hot take that we sent you to a sauna for?
Well, me and the boys are here in the sauna just hanging out. We got Mike. We got Mally, obviously, here flexing, doing his thing. We've got Ethan, it's a lot of sweat here. Ethan in a jersey for some reason inside the sauna.
Just never stops wearing a hockey jersey.
A lot of jersey there for the kid. All right, Mike, you haven't been paying attention to the NBA, but I want to tell you this, okay? SGA, minus 500 to win the MVP.
Really?
Minus 500 to win the MVP.
He's that good.
He's been arguably the best player on the planet. And the reason why I am going to make this a hot take is because I don't think he should win the MVP. Shane Gilgeous-Alexander, as Dan likes to call him, should not win the MVP. The MVP should go to Nikola Jokic. Now, I know you're going to tell me, Mike, I know you're not watching the NBA. Obviously, he's the best player on the planet. He's the best player in the world. Of course, he should win the MVP. The reason why, and I want to bring in Jeremy, too, to help me with this because I know he's in on the analytics and the numbers. Jokic, when he's on the floor, a lot of sweat in this sauna. It's more of a steam room than a...
Man, I can't stop looking at Mally.
I haven't heard a word that Tony said right now. I'm just looking at the top 4 abs of Mally.
All right, so Jokic... Don't touch me, Mally. Jokic is the best player on the planet, and his offensive rating when him and the Nuggets are on the floor together, when he's on the floor, is one of the greatest of all time. Right? The best net offensive rating were the Celtics of last year. When Jokic is on the floor with the Nuggets, they are the best team offensively, maybe ever. Okay? When he's off the floor, they are as good as... Here you go, Mally. Yeah, use that, buddy. But watch out. Here you go. Thank you. Okay. When Jokic is off the floor, they are basically the equivalent of the 2015-2016 Philadelphia 76ers, who were obviously the tank teams, who were terrible. So Jokic, even though he's won 3 out of 4 MVPs, man, it's a lot of sweat. Even though it is hot.
It's getting hot in here, pal.
Ethan, why don't you take off that sweater? There you go. Ethan's going to take it off now. Here we go.
Do you think
He's got another shirt underneath?
Do you think Mally shaves his chest?
Do you shave your chest, Mally?
Oh, hell yeah, Ethan.
Yeah, he does.
That's
He does.
more my
He just
speed.
answered it.
I'm more Ethan speed. Hell yeah, buddy.
A little chest hair on the boy. Okay, so with that, Nikola Jokic should win a 4th MVP in the last 5 years because he is literally the greatest player on the planet. And if you take him off the Nuggets, they are terrible. They are the worst team, maybe in the last decade, of offensive rating. Jeremy, can you back me up on these claims?
Yeah, I mean, their disparity when he's on the floor versus off the floor is dramatic. And they're the number 2 seed in the Western Conference, a Western Conference that has been unbelievably competitive. Now, the one thing, Tony, to Shea's advantage would be that they are running away with the Western Conference, and he has been so efficient and so dominant. But the Nuggets are not a team with a great supporting cast around Jokic, and it's proven in the numbers you're talking about. I back in November, we were talking about this, and I brought up that when he was on the floor, they had the greatest offensive rating of all time.
In history.
And when he was off the floor, they had one of the worst offensive ratings you would ever get over a full season. That's the disparity of when he's there. He's such a singularly dominant force. And when you're talking, like we've spoken about on this show before, about value, there's nothing more valuable than someone who literally makes you one of the best teams ever when he's on the floor and one of the worst teams ever when he's off of it.
That's the steam you hear, by the way.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what that was. Yeah, I didn't know if it was a flush.
He's making it hotter in there.
I didn't know if it was a dookie bomb. I don't know what happened there.
The sounds of a sauna.
You would think
like
from
a
this
dookie bomb,
bit
right?
that Finland won the Four Nations Cup.
You would think that.
Let me remind the people first, though, to enhance your physical and mental wellness routines with Redwood Outdoors. Take advantage of your special savings today. Visit redwoodoutdoors.com and use code Dan to save $175.
So just to be clear, we did the sponsored segment for a hot take, and the hot take was the best player in the world should win the MVP.
Yes. Yes. Theoretically, yes, which is why it's a hot take, right? You go full circle on, well, he's the best player in the world. Like, why? Obviously, he should win the MVP, but then there's somebody who's got more. Damn it. Mally's just sweating all over the place. Mike, you want to come in here and switch places with me so you can be next to Mally?
Mally can come into this studio. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, wow.
What's going on under that tab?
Yeah, I feel bad for the podcast audience because the only reward for this segment seems to be the visual component, and Mally has won it. This is a star-making turn.
Mike, you have an ab now. Why aren't you?
I have two. I think I have two now. Thank you for the shout out.
I told you I would give your abs a shout out for the courtside.
That was just for the close friends, but they wouldn't know that because Taylor had to pick that photo earlier in the show. So, all right, Tony, come back in here because I want to talk UFC with you as we try to depoliticize sports for a moment. I'd like to talk about UFC Miami. You can feel free to wear your same wardrobe. But, Jess, you mentioned you're doing your deep dive on the Oscars and how time-consuming that is. I'm in a similar boat. I've got a lot to watch. So I need you to, essentially cut out two films. Now, I'm pretty sure Amelia Perez, that's done. We're not doing that one. But I need another one that you just know that I'm not going to jibe with because I know I got to watch Conclave. I've had way too many people tell me that Conclave is a banger. So what should be next on my chopping block?
Conclave is a banger. Have you seen Anora?
I loved Anora.
Okay, I knew you
more
would.
Sex in that film than I've ever seen in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah, I read this article that said the Oscars are afraid of sex because certain films didn't get nominated. And I'm like, there is more sex in Anora than you can possibly imagine.
There is a lot of sex in that film. It's a very good movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard, don't waste your time with The Brutalist.
So The Brutalist is 3.5 hours long.
Exactly.
I think it just went on a video on demand. I kind of need to see The Brutalist. Man, it was the odds-on favorite, and then this AI controversy sprang around The Brutalist, which I don't get all too much. I saw the director speak on this AI controversy. For those that don't know, in post-production, they used artificial intelligence to refine Hungarian accents to make it more authentic rather than just let the performances speak for themselves, which sometimes is a good thing. Look, if you watch Blake Lively in The Town, you wish that they used some artificial intelligence because I don't know what that accent was.
Oh, man. And I know you haven't seen the new season of White Lotus yet, but Parker Posey and Jason Isaacs are getting killed for their Durham accents, which I love.
So sometimes accents can be a huge distraction. I don't know how many people would be nitpicking the Hungarian accents, but this seems to be a big betrayal of artistry. But I thought the director acquitted himself nicely in that, look, we're trying to make an authentic film that speaks to certain people, and you literally want to speak to them. You don't want them to be turned off.
Yeah, I also get people that are concerned with the AI creep into the arts. But yeah, there is a lot of AI used for certain programs on computers and cameras and things like that are sort of widely accepted. But I think it's a worthwhile, to borrow Chris and Stugotz's line, I think it's a worthwhile debate, and it's still something that I don't know if anyone has really perfect answer for yet, because there's helpful uses for it, but also we should maintain some sort of humanity in the arts.
We should have had this entire discussion with Mally shirtless.
Folks, did you know that sleep is one of the most important parts of recovery? Whether you're a pro athlete or just looking to crush your day, getting the right kind of rest is key. And that's where Sleep Number smart beds comes in. Since 2018, Sleep Number has partnered with the NFL to help elite athletes get quality sleep that they need to perform at their best. In fact, 80% of NFL players sleep on Sleep Number smart beds. Tough workout? The Sleep Number smart bed can be adjusted to suit your needs. Firmer one night, softer the next, giving you the ultimate recovery boost. And let's talk about those sweaty, sleepless nights. The new Climate Cool smart bed adjusts up to 15 degrees cooler on either side with scientifically designed cooling programs to keep you comfortable and undisturbed. Sleep Number smart beds don't just help you sleep, they learn how you sleep, providing personalized insights to help you get even better rest. It's like having a sleep coach right in your bedroom. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? So you can choose your ideal comfort on either side. And now, save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. See store or sleepnumber.com for details.
Hey there, wellness warriors. If you're like me, you've given a lot of thought to how to improve your health and wellness routine this year. I've started stretching more, do a little mindfulness and meditation every day, try to clear my mind, make my body feel right. Take your health routine to the next level with the magic of contrast therapy. Meet our new amazing sponsor, Redwood Outdoors. They're making it easy to bring the benefits of saunas and cold plunges right to your backyard. A Redwood Outdoors backyard sauna seats 2 to 8 people, where you can relax, unwind, and enjoy all the benefits like reduced muscle tension, improved sleep, and glowing skin. And it doesn't stop there. Redwood Outdoors' invigorating cold plunge helps to boost circulation, sharpen your focus, and leave you feeling absolutely revitalized. Whether it's detoxing deeper, reducing inflammation, or connecting with loved ones in moments of peace, Redwood Outdoors has you covered. Enhance your physical and mental wellness routines with Redwood Outdoors. Take advantage of special savings today. Visit redwoodoutdoors.com. Use code DAN to save $175. That's redwoodoutdoors.com, code DAN to save $175 on your order. redwoodoutdoors.com, code DAN.